Hello and welcome to the Retail Journey. I'm James Harris. Today we're doing a slightly different format, a matchup episode focused entirely on the collision of artificial intelligence, digital discoverability, and the modern retail supply chain. We're going to explore how the invisible machinery of retail is shifting. You'll hear from Eric Howerton of AdFury on how AI is changing search, Grant Demers from McLean Company on Omni-Channel fulfillment, and Erin Wall from Lunar Capital on the financial realities of inventory, and finally Katie Smith from Walmart Adult Beverage on the ultimate customer expectation, which is speed. To kick things off, let's talk about how customers actually find your products today. I'm still shocked that 51% of Americans have still not used a chatbot. However, that number was 80% a few months ago when we talked to Eric Howerton about this the first time. So my question to him was to break down what agentic AI and AI-driven shopping solutions are actually doing to the digital shelf.
That's a really good question because, you have what we call LLMs, large language models, which are the ones we know, which is OpenAI, X, Gemini, et cetera.
Don't leave
Claude, right? And Claude out
friends.
there. And then, it's a good friend, right?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claude.
Yeah.
I like that. I haven't heard that. That's good. And then you have, then you have the chat GPTs, the different chat systems within those that are tapping in. Then those are really what we call off-the-shelf tools, right? So that anybody under the sun can really go in and start using them. You can have different advanced subscriptions, whether you don't want it to train off your data, depending on how much you pay, your tokenization, how much it's costing you to subscribe and do those things. So that's all kind of like the off-the-shelf world that we see. And then I would explain too how it impacts the shopping world is what we call GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, which is basically the new SEO, search engine optimization. The GEO is are the algorithms from the chatbots being able to go out and find, in conversation, what it is that you're actually looking for as you're having a conversational commerce experience, asking the bot, or the chat, how does this solve my need? And it populates all these answers and tries to make it conclusive. And that's the discoverability layer, right? And so all that part is what's in the GEO space with off-the-shelf tools for the customer. And then you move into another layer called agentic commerce, which it actually takes the GEO another step and actually executes for you on your behalf. And so, we're already in the world of GEO. We're already in the world that we're already experiencing where, hey, I need a flavored water that has electrolytes in it, right? And you're having a conversation with it and it's going out and discovering and bringing it back to you. Yeah, that's right. And so what that requires right there, that's a good discussion because that requires each brand to really provide even more content. Everything comes back to content.
Yep.
More content. And the beautiful thing about the GEO space versus SEO that I've kind of seen in this business for so long, GEO is able to read images in context. Yeah. Same thing for video. SEO never did that. It would just read metadata and stuff like that of whatever you put in it, which never really happened. But it can contextually understand that if you do have a picture of somebody bored and, happy now because, or whatever, it can actually understand that as maybe a way to serve this back up to you. And so the magnitude at which a brand should supply the ecosystem with more content that's explaining all the use cases, all the value propositions, all those lifestyle type scenarios is the key in GEO.
Eric is absolutely right. Winning the digital shelf through AI and generative engine optimization is step one. But once that digital cart converts, the physical supply chain takes over instantly. I sat down with Grant Demers, Vice President of Sales at McLean Company, to ask him how their massive infrastructure enables omni-channel fulfillment for both retailers and suppliers.
Love that question. So, our ambition is to be where our customers are and where they're going, like to make sure that we are positioning ourselves effectively to serve their needs, removing friction from the supply chain at every pass. So with respect to omni-channel, we have been doing some version of omni-channel for since I was in operations over 10 years ago. Over the last 5 years, around the pandemic, we were being asked to create solutions both to take products to fulfillment centers that could then be plugged into that pipeline directly, but also direct to consumer on behalf of some of our largest customers. So our investments in Omni-Channel are as we have seen a forthcoming need or been asked by a customer to go build a solution. We've been able to do that quickly. And so our divisions today have dedicated resources using Bluetooth receiving devices to take, we're sending inventory signals and then receiving demand signals that then send a selector out to go grab product, take it to an area of the DC where we can box that up, and it's multiple times a day shipped to the consumer.
Shipments are temperature controlled?
They are if they need to be. It depends on the product. Yeah.
What's the actual delivery method? Are you using common carrier? Is it your truck that's delivering it to homes?
It depends on the solution required, and the answer is both. So we're doing to a consumer. It's through a common carrier or FedEx, UPS, USPS. And so with that, if it's something that needs temp sensitivity, we will use a system to measure what's the temp expectation between here and there over this period of time. And there's a corresponding product density versus number of gel packs that are required to ensure that it's protected. And we've spent a lot of time and resources sort of testing that temperature lens to know kind of how things work and how we need to get it there.
Direct-to-consumer delivery at scale is a massive advantage, but that entire omni-channel flywheel completely falls apart if your product is stuck at a port or if you run out of capital to fund your inventory. Erin Wall from Lunar Capital breaks down the trap of launching too thin and why buyers demand suppliers who can anticipate trends before they happen.
I think 9 times out of 10, something was stuck at the port. It was probably ordered too late. Right? You have to expect sometimes 2 to 3 weeks of a delay, right? That's just, unfortunately, sometimes part and parcel. And you do tend to see companies that are a little thinner in terms of, they're not multi-billion, they're emerging, their cash flow's tight because they're reinvesting into their business. There's a tendency to want to start a new launch with not enough inventory, or maybe just the exact right amount of inventory. And depending on what your turnaround time is for production and freight and et cetera, it's a really bad way to launch into any retailer, let alone one that's as systems and mathematically driven as Walmart. Yeah. You need to have more weeks of supply available than you will probably year 2. And that's a tough pill as well, but it's a place where Lunar could really step in for a company to, there'd still be debt, but they wouldn't be cash spent until, better time.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing as a buyer, you kind of touched this, but I feel like I want to partner with people who know the trend before I do. I want them to be telling me where I should head. If I'm telling you my strategy, it's too late. Don't wait for the buyer to tell you.
Anticipating the trend is how you get the product into the system, but the ultimate test of this entire ecosystem is speed. When your AI content, your inventory capital, and your logistics are all aligned, the results can be staggering. Walmart Vice President Katie Smith recently experienced exactly how fast this game is getting.
We opened adult beverage delivery in the state of Arkansas a few months ago. And I wanted to be the first person. I was like, I'm trying to get this done forever. And so, it happened and I was excited about it. So, first person I go to do my delivery, 15 minutes.
Wow.
Wine delivered to my house.
15 minutes. That is fantastic. But it also immediately becomes the new baseline expectation. The game is getting faster and faster. And if your brand isn't consistent on that metric, you will be left behind. So thank you again, Eric, Grant, Erin, and Katie, for your incredible insights. And thank you, as always, for listening. You can find our podcast anywhere you get your podcast or on our website at theretailjourneypodcast.com. See you on the next Retail Journey.